The galaxies joke. The room echoed with laughter. Representatives from the most powerful empires in the galaxy had gathered for the annual Summit of Stars. Aliens of various shapes, sizes, and species filled the grand chamber, their conversations filled with smug pride and casual arrogance. In the center of it all sat a lone human representative, Alex Carter, surrounded by mockery and scorn. Humans, a towering reptilian alien scoffed, its scales shimmering under the room's bright lights. Your kind barely made it out of your solar system. What makes you think you can stand among us? More laughter erupted, this time from a bird-like creature with gleaming feathers. Fragile little things, aren't they? I've seen their ships. They look like toys compared to ours. Alex sat calmly, hands folded on the sleek black table. His sharp suit was simple compared to the elaborate garments of the other delegates. He didn't flinch at their words. Instead, he allowed them to jeer, as if their insults were part of the plan. Perhaps you're right, Alex finally said, his voice steady. Humans are fragile. Our technology is behind yours. We don't have the might of the Drakon Empire or the speed of the Vex Alliance. He paused, his eyes scanning the room. But we do have one thing none of you seem to understand. The laughter quieted, curiosity replacing mockery for a brief moment. A feline-like alien leaned forward, its sharp claws clicking on the table. And what is that, human? What could your kind possibly have that we don't? Alex smiled, a small, mysterious smile that seemed out of place in a room full of predators. You'll see. Before anyone could respond, the lights dimmed, signaling the start of the formal proceedings. The Galactic Council's leader, a towering figure of shimmering energy, took the stage. As it began its speech, Alex let his thoughts wander, replaying the years that had led to this moment. Humans had always been underestimated. When Earth first made contact with alien civilizations, it was treated as a joke. The larger empires dismissed humanity as a species doomed to remain on the fringes of galactic society. They were seen as weak, insignificant, and unworthy of respect. But what the galaxy didn't realize was that humans had a knack for adaptation. While the great empires bickered over territory and resources, humanity quietly worked in the shadows. They studied alien technology, learned from their enemies' mistakes, and most importantly, kept their plans hidden. Alex's thoughts were interrupted by the feline delegate's voice. Still sitting there, human. You're braver than I thought. Or maybe just too stupid to realize how outclassed you are. Alex turned to face her, his smile still intact. Sometimes, being underestimated is the greatest advantage. The feline narrowed her eyes, clearly irritated. We'll see how far that advantage takes you when your fragile ships are torn apart in battle. Alex didn't reply. He didn't need to. Deep inside, he knew the truth. The galaxy's powerful empires had spent so long mocking humanity that they hadn't noticed the quiet rise of a new power. They hadn't seen the invisible fleets, the experimental weapons, or the silent alliances being forged in the shadows. As the meeting continued, the alien leaders presented their plans for expansion, trade, and military dominance. Each speech was filled with arrogance, as if they were invincible. Alex listened carefully, taking mental notes. Every word spoken was another piece of the puzzle, another detail to exploit. Hours later, as the meeting came to a close, the council's leader asked for final remarks. Alex stood, drawing curious looks from the room. It was rare for humans to speak at such events. They usually stayed silent, observing from the sidelines. I want to thank you all, Alex began, his voice calm but confident. Thank you for reminding us of how small and weak we are. Your words inspire us to work harder, to strive for something greater. The room was silent now, the delegates unsure if he was being sincere or sarcastic. Alex continued, his eyes locking with the felines. Humans may not have your strength or your speed, but we have something far more valuable, our ability to learn, to adapt, and to turn the impossible into reality. With that, Alex sat down, his words hanging in the air like a challenge. The other delegates exchanged glances, some dismissing him with a shrug, others feeling a twinge of unease. As the delegates began to leave, the feline lingered behind, her sharp gaze fixed on Alex. "You speak boldly for someone so insignificant," she said, her tone low and threatening. "But words won't save you when the time comes." Alex stood, adjusting his suit as he prepared to leave. He looked at her with the same calm smile he'd worn all day. "You're right," he replied. "Words won't save us, but actions will." And with that, Alex walked out of the chamber, leaving the galaxy's most powerful leaders to wonder what humanity was truly planning. The unseen weapon. In the vast expanse of space, silence reigned. A massive alien cargo ship, the Zychron Vanguard, floated peacefully through the darkness, its hold filled with precious resources destined for the mighty Drakon Empire. The crew on board, a mix of reptilian Drakons and their robotic assistants, was relaxed. After all, who would dare attack them? Unbeknownst to them, something invisible lurked just outside their sensors' range. On board the Spectre, a human stealth ship cloaked in the revolutionary Phantom Shield, Captain Zara Kincaid watched the Zychron Vanguard through her holographic interface. Zara was a seasoned soldier, her piercing blue eyes scanning every detail of the alien ship's structure. Her voice was calm but commanding as she spoke to her crew. "Initiate Phase 1, she ordered, leaning back in her chair. "Keep it quiet. No one knows we're here until it's too late." The Spectre's crew, a mix of young engineers and hardened veterans, sprang into action. The hum of advanced human technology filled the ship, silent yet deadly. The Phantom Shield wasn't just a cloaking device. It bent light, absorbed energy signatures, and rendered the Spectre undetectable by even the most advanced alien scanners. The mission begins. Zara's second-in-command, Lieutenant Rami Delgado, grinned as he monitored the Vanguard's movements. "They don't have a clue, Captain. It's like they're blind out there." "Good," Zara replied, her expression unchanging. "Let's keep it that way." As the Spectre crept closer to the Vanguard, Zora's mind wandered to the years of preparation that had led to this moment. Humanity had spent decades perfecting their stealth technology, driven by the ridicule and scorn of the galaxy. The Phantom Shield was their greatest achievement, a weapon so advanced that it could turn the tide of any battle before the enemy even realized they were under attack. Meanwhile, aboard the Zychron Vanguard, a young Drakon officer named Grex was beginning to feel uneasy. He stared at the ship's sensor readouts, frowning. "Commander," he said, addressing his superior, "I'm detecting something strange. There's a slight fluctuation in the energy field around us." The Drakon commander, a hulking reptilian with a scar across his snout, barely looked up. "Your imagination is playing tricks on you, Grex. No one would be foolish enough to target a Drakon cargo ship." "But sir—" "Enough," the commander snapped. "Focus on your duties." Grex fell silent, but the unease in his chest only grew stronger. The unseen strike. On board the Spectre, Zora's voice broke the silence. "Activate the grapplers. Let's strip them clean." With surgical precision, magnetic grapplers extended from the Spectre, latching onto the Vanguard's cargo hold. Using the Phantom Shield's advanced tech, the humans began siphoning the ship's resources directly into their own. The operation was so silent and seamless that the Drakon crew had no idea they were being robbed. "Cargo transfer at 45%, Rami reported, his fingers flying across the controls. "This is almost too easy." "Don't get cocky," Zora warned. "We're in their backyard. One mistake, and we're done." Suddenly, alarms blared aboard the Zychron Vanguard. Grex's fingers danced over his console as he shouted, "Commander, I'm detecting an energy spike. Something's wrong." The Drakon commander growled, his claws digging into the armrest of his chair. "What is it? A pirate attack?" "No," Grex replied, panic in his voice. "I don't know what it is. There's no visual, no signatures. It's like it's coming from nowhere. A close call. On the Spectre, the atmosphere grew tense. The Vanguard's sudden alarms hadn't gone unnoticed. "They're onto us," Raimi muttered, his grin replaced by a look of concern. "They don't see us, but they know something's wrong." "Stay focused," Zara said, her voice sharp. "We've planned for this. Initiate decoy protocols." With a press of a button, the Spectre deployed a series of small drones, each mimicking the energy signature of a rogue asteroid. The drones scattered, confusing the Vanguard sensors even further. On the Vanguard, Grex's screen lit up with false readings. "Commander, I'm detecting multiple objects approaching. They could be hostile." The Drakon commander snarled, his frustration growing. "Prepare defensive measures. Fire at will." Missiles and energy blasts erupted from the Vanguard, tearing through the void of space. But they hit nothing, just the decoy drones drifting harmlessly away. "The escape. Cargo transfer complete," Raimi announced, relief evident in his voice. "We're loaded and ready to go." "Good," Zara replied. "Engage Phase 2. Let's vanish." The Spectre disengaged from the Vanguard, slipping away into the darkness. The phantom shield enveloped the ship once more, erasing all traces of its presence. Within moments, it was as if the Spectre had never been there. On the Vanguard, chaos reigned. The Drakon crew scrambled to understand what had just happened, their sensors overloaded with false data. Grex stared at his console, his claws trembling. It's gone," he whispered. "Whatever it was, it's gone." The Drakon commander slammed his fist on the table, his rage boiling over. "Cowards. Whoever they were, they'll pay for this." But deep down, even he felt a flicker of fear. How do you fight an enemy you can't see? A quiet victory. Back on the Spectre, the crew celebrated their success. Zara allowed herself a small smile as she addressed her team. "Well done, everyone," she said. "But this is just the beginning. The galaxy still thinks we're weak. Let's keep it that way, for now." As the Spectre disappeared into the vastness of space, Zora's words lingered in the air. Humanity was no longer the galaxy's joke. They were its shadow, its whisper, its unseen weapon. And soon, the galaxy would realize that the laughter had ended. Whispers in the dark. The galaxy began to murmur. At first, the stories were small, barely a whisper among the bustling trade routes and starports. A cargo ship vanished here, a supply convoy disrupted there. No one could say for certain who was responsible. The mighty Drakon Empire chalked it up to rogue pirates, while the Vex Alliance dismissed it as mechanical failures. But those paying attention knew better. The first clue. On the bustling trade hub of Orion 9, an aging Vex trader named Corval recounted his harrowing tale to a growing crowd of curious listeners. His feathered crest trembled as he spoke, his beak clicking nervously. "We were en route to Daxer Prime with a full load of neotanium," Corval said, his voice low. "The scanners were clear, not a single blip on the radar. Then, out of nowhere, the ship jolted, and a cargo hold alarms went off. When we checked, everything was gone. Every crate. No signs of forced entry, no trace of who did it." The crowd murmured, skeptical but intrigued. A gruff Kravik mercenary folded his arms and scoffed. "Sounds like a poorly managed ship. Probably sold your cargo and made up a story." Corval's eyes flashed with anger. "I'd stake my feathers on this. I saw nothing, but something was there. Mark my words, there's something new out there. Something unseen." The Council's growing unease. Far from the trade hub, in the gleaming halls of the Galactic Council, the whispers had grown louder. Reports of disappearing ships and untraceable thefts were piling up. The Drakon representative, Commander Thraxus, slammed his scaled fist on the table during a heated meeting. "This is an act of war. Whoever is responsible will face the full wrath of the Drakon fleet." The Vex delegate, A graceful figure adorned with shimmering plumage raised an eyebrow. "And who exactly do you plan to fight? Thraxis? Ghosts? Shadows? Your mighty fleet can't destroy what it can't even detect." Thraxis growled, his claws scraping the table. "We'll find them. No one hides from the Dracons forever." Across the table, Alex Carter, humanity's representative, quietly observed the exchange. Unlike the others, he didn't speak, didn't argue. He simply listened, a faint smile playing on his lips. The Dracons were angry, the Vex were skeptical, and the smaller factions were beginning to grow afraid. It was all going according to plan. The investigation begins. Desperate for answers, the Dracon Empire assigned their top investigator, Commander Varric, to uncover the truth. Varric was a veteran of 1,000 battles, a methodical thinker with a reputation for solving the unsolvable. Varric's first stop was the Zekron Vanguard, the cargo ship that had been mysteriously robbed. The Dracon commander of the Vanguard, still seething from his humiliation, greeted Varric with a reluctant salute. "We don't know how they did it," the commander admitted, his voice laced with frustration. One moment, everything was normal. The next, they were gone, along with half our cargo. Varric examined the ship's logs, his sharp eyes scanning the data for anything unusual. He noticed faint energy fluctuations in the recorded readings, too subtle to trigger alarms but consistent with something moving close to the ship. Whoever did this, Varric muttered to himself, isn't just smart. They're invisible. The unsettling discovery. Meanwhile, on the fringes of the galaxy, a small salvage crew stumbled upon a curious sight. A seemingly abandoned human freighter drifted in open space, its hull scorched but intact. The crew, a ragtag group of scavengers, approached cautiously. As they boarded, they found the ship completely empty. No crew, no cargo, not even a trace of life support activity. Yet the ship was operational, its systems still running. "What is this?" one of the scavengers muttered, examining the strange markings on the ship's control panels. "This tech, it's not like anything I've seen before." Unbeknownst to them, the ship was a decoy, left behind intentionally by the Spectre's crew. Hidden within its systems was a silent tracker, designed to transmit data back to the human fleet. Zara had predicted that the galaxy's scavengers would eventually stumble upon it, and now the humans were quietly gathering intelligence on their adversaries. A seed of fear. As more ships disappeared and rumors spread, fear began to grip the galaxy. The Dracon Empire increased its patrols, their warships prowling the trade routes. The Vex Alliance issued a warning to its merchants, advising them to avoid isolated routes. Smaller factions, lacking the resources for defense, began forming uneasy alliances. But no one could find the enemy. Every investigation ended the same way, with no evidence, no witnesses, and no answers. Zara's message. Back aboard the Spectre, Captain Zara Kincaid monitored the growing chaos with satisfaction. Sitting in the captain's chair, she watched as intercepted transmissions from alien ships scrolled across the holographic display. "The Dracons are scrambling their fleets," Raimi reported, leaning back in his seat. "They're paranoid, shooting at shadows." "Good," Zara replied. "Let them waste their resources. Every step they take brings them closer to defeat." She paused, then activated a secure communication link to Earth. Alex Carter's face appeared on the screen, his calm demeanor mirroring her own. "The whispers are spreading," Zara said. "They're starting to fear what they can't see." Alex nodded. "Good. Fear is the first step. Keep them guessing. The longer they're distracted, the stronger we become." A growing threat. As the Spectre faded back into the depths of space, the galaxy was left to wonder. Who were the ghosts haunting their trade routes? What unseen enemy was rising in the shadows? And most importantly, what would they do when the whispers turned into a roar? The trap is set. The galaxy was no longer laughing. Fear had spread like wildfire, turning once mighty empires into jittery, suspicious entities. The Dracon Empire, furious at its inability to trace the mysterious attacks, convened an emergency war council. Their goal: to draw the unseen enemy into the light. Deep within the Empire's capital on Karath Prime, Commander Varric outlined his plan to a room full of alien leaders. Holographic projections of star maps hovered above the table, showing a key trade route known for its strategic importance. "We've identified a high-priority supply chain they're likely to target," Varric explained, his voice sharp and confident. "We'll leave it seemingly unguarded, but in reality, it'll be a trap. Our fleet will remain cloaked in the nearby nebula, waiting for them to strike." The bait. The bait was a convoy of 5 massive cargo ships loaded with neotanium, a rare and valuable mineral used in advanced weaponry. Each ship was heavily shielded and equipped with tracking devices. On the surface, it appeared to be a poorly defended fleet, with only a token escort of 2 small frigates. The Dracons stationed their warships in the Eon Nebula, a region of dense gas clouds that masked their energy signatures. Hundreds of stealth drones hovered nearby, their sensors primed to detect even the faintest disturbance. Varric himself would command the operation from the flagship Ravager, a towering dreadnought armed with cutting-edge weaponry. "This time," Varric declared, "they won't escape. The Spectre watches." Unbeknownst to the Dracons, the Spectre was already watching. Hidden within the nebula, its phantom shield rendered it completely invisible, even to the Dracon stealth drones. Captain Zara Kincaid studied the convoy through her holographic display, her sharp mind piecing together the enemy's plan. "They're expecting us," Zara said, a hint of amusement in her voice. "They've set a trap." Rami Delgado, her second in command, frowned. "So what's the plan?" "Avoid it." Zara smirked. "No, we spring it, but on our terms." Preparing the counterattack, Zara's crew sprang into action, deploying a series of decoy drones into the nebula. Each drone emitted faint energy signals designed to mimic the Spectre's presence. Meanwhile, the human stealth fleet spread across nearby sectors, prepared to converge at Zara's signal. On board the Spectre, Zara held a briefing with her officers. "The Dracons think they're clever, but they've underestimated us again. We'll let them think they've caught us, then hit them where it hurts." The plan was daring and dangerous, but the crew's confidence in Zora was unwavering. Humanity had spent years refining their tactics, learning to outthink and outmaneuver their adversaries. This would be no different. The trap is sprung. As the convoy entered the nebula, the Spectre's decoy drones activated, sending out false signals. Immediately, the Dracon fleet detected the presence of an unknown vessel. "Energy signature detected," shouted a Dracon officer aboard the Ravager. "It matches the patterns from previous attacks." Varric's eyes gleamed with anticipation. "Finally, all ships prepare to engage. Do not let them escape." The Dracon warships emerged from the nebula, their weapons locking onto the decoys. Missiles and energy blasts tore through the void, but every hit revealed nothing, just empty space. "They're toying with us," Varric snarled, slamming his fist on the console. "Find the real ship." The decloaking. Suddenly, the Spectre decloaked directly in front of the convoy, its sleek black hull shimmering against the nebula's light. For a moment, the Dracon fleet hesitated, stunned by the audacity of their enemy. "Target acquired," shouted a Dracon gunner. "Fire." The Dracon ships unleashed a barrage of firepower, but Zara was ready. The Spectre's advanced countermeasures activated, creating a web of holographic projections that confused the enemy's targeting systems. Missiles detonated harmlessly in empty space, while energy blasts missed by wide margins. "Let's give them a show," Zara said, her voice calm. "Activate the fleet." The counterattack. From the shadows, the rest of the human stealth fleet decloaked. Dozens of ships appeared out of nowhere, their sleek designs a testament to humanity's ingenuity. The Dracons, caught off guard, scrambled to respond, but the humans moved with precision and coordination. Human ships swarmed the convoy, disabling the escort frigates with pinpoint strikes. Cargo holds were breached, and the neotanium was swiftly transferred to the stealth fleet. The operation was seamless, each move calculated to minimize risk. Varric, watching from the Ravager, could barely contain his fury. All ships converge on their position. Surround them. But as the Drakon fleet moved in, the human ships began to disappear one by one, their cloaking systems reactivating. Within moments, the fleet had vanished, leaving behind only the decoy drones and the smoldering wreckage of the Drakon frigates. The aftermath. On board the Ravager, Varric stood in stunned silence. His fleet, his carefully laid trap, had been outmaneuvered. The convoy was lost, and his prey had vanished without a trace. "They outsmarted us," one of his officers muttered, fear creeping into their voice. "They're not just ghosts, they're predators." Varric's claws scraped the console as he glared at the empty space before him. "This isn't over," he growled. "We will hunt them down, no matter the cost." A message sent. Back on the Spectre, Zura addressed her crew. "Another victory," she said, her voice steady but proud. "The galaxy's starting to learn what happens when you underestimate humanity." A secure message from Earth lit up her display. Alex Carter's face appeared, his calm demeanor matching hers. "The Drakons will retaliate," he warned. "Be ready for the storm." Zara nodded. "Let them come. They'll only find shadows." As the Spectre disappeared into the darkness, Zara's words echoed in the minds of her crew. Humanity wasn't just fighting for survival. They were rewriting the rules of warfare. And the galaxy was beginning to realize that its greatest predator was no longer visible. The reveal. The galaxy's skies were no longer silent. Whispers of the invisible enemy had turned into panicked cries. Entire sectors reported mysterious disappearances, entire fleets reduced to wreckage by an adversary no one could see. But the Drakon Empire was done playing games. At the heart of their capital, Commander Varric stood before the Emperor of the Drakons, a towering reptilian figure encased in golden armor. The Emperor's voice rumbled like thunder as he demanded answers. "You've failed me, Varric. The Empire bleeds while you chase shadows. Who are they? Where are they? Speak." Varric, though battered by his recent failures, met the Emperor's gaze. "They're not ghosts, my lord. They're humans. And they've weaponized their insignificance." The Emperor snarled, his claws tearing into the armrest of his throne. "Humans? Those fragile insects. How dare they challenge the Empire?" Varric's voice was grim. "They've dared. And they've won every battle so far. But I set a trap they can't escape." A galaxy-wide broadcast. Hours later, Varric stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Ravager, preparing for the next phase of his plan. The Emperor's message echoed in his mind. "Make them fear us again. Show the galaxy our wrath." Through a galaxy-wide broadcast, the Drakon Empire announced its intentions. Varric appeared on millions of screens across the stars, his reptilian features sharp and commanding. "To the unseen enemy," he growled, his voice carrying the weight of Drakon pride. "You've stolen from us, humiliated us, and hidden like cowards. But no more. We challenge you to show yourselves. Meet us in open battle, if you have the courage." The message was bait, designed to provoke the humans into breaking their invisibility. The Drakons had assembled a fleet of unprecedented size, ready to crush their elusive foe. Humanity's answer. In a hidden base on Earth's moon, Alex Carter watched the broadcast alongside Zara and other high-ranking officials. The room buzzed with tension. The Drakons' challenge was a trap, but ignoring it could damage humanity's growing reputation as a galactic force. "They're trying to draw us out," one advisor muttered. "We can't fall for it." Zara leaned forward, her expression unreadable. "But what if we do? What if we show them what they're up against?" Alex, calm as ever, nodded. "It's time. The galaxy needs to see that humanity isn't weak. Zara, you and your fleet will answer their challenge. but not on their terms. The stage is set. The battlefield was chosen. The Icaran Abyss, a region of space filled with treacherous gravitational anomalies and swirling asteroid fields. The Dracon's fleet arrived in force, hundreds of warships stretching as far as the eye could see. Varric stood on the bridge of the Ravager, his confidence bolstered by the sheer scale of his armada. "They'll come," he muttered. "They crave recognition. They'll want to prove themselves." And come they did. From the depths of the abyss, the human fleet emerged. But it wasn't the ragtag group of stealth ships Varric had expected. It was an organized armada, larger and more advanced than anything the galaxy had seen from humanity. Ships with sleek black hulls glided into view, their surfaces shimmering with energy fields that seemed to distort reality itself. For the first time, humanity had decloaked. The unveiling of power. Varric's officers gasped as they scanned the human fleet. "Sir, they're ships. They're broadcasting false signatures. I'm detecting hundreds of additional vessels that aren't there." Varric growled, his sharp teeth gleaming. "Holographic decoys. Clever, but it won't save them." On board the Spectre, Zura coordinated her fleet with precision. The human ships moved like phantoms, slipping through the chaotic battlefield with unparalleled agility. While the Dracon ships relied on brute force, the humans used speed, misdirection, and overwhelming tactical superiority. "They expected us to fight their way," Zura said, her voice cold and focused. "But we don't fight fair." A lesson in warfare. The battle was a masterclass in asymmetrical warfare. Human ships deployed advanced EMP bursts, disabling the Dracon fleet's communications and targeting systems. Drones outfitted with cloaking devices darted through the enemy ranks, planting explosive charges on critical systems. Varric's frustration mounted as his ships fell one by one. "Focus fire on their flagship," he roared. "Bring it down." But the Spectre was untouchable. Its phantom shield absorbed incoming fire, while its countermeasures sent enemy missiles careening into their own ranks. The turning point. As the battle raged, Zura initiated the final phase of the plan. The human fleet executed a coordinated retreat, drawing the Dracons deeper into the abyss. Unbeknownst to Varric, the humans had mapped the region extensively, identifying gravitational traps and asteroid fields that could be weaponized. "Activate the distortion grid," Zara ordered. Using advanced gravitational manipulation devices, the humans turned the abyss itself into a weapon. Massive asteroids were redirected into the path of the Dracon fleet, crushing ships under their immense weight. Gravitational anomalies tore apart enemy vessels, leaving chaos in their wake. The reveal. As the Dracon fleet crumbled, Zara sent a transmission directly to the Ravager. Varric's screen lit up with her image, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the chaos around her. "You wanted us to show ourselves," Zara said, her voice steady. "So here we are. The galaxy's weakest species, as you called us. But weakness is a matter of perspective, isn't it?" Varric snarled, his frustration boiling over. "This isn't over." Zora's lips curled into a faint smile. "No, it's not. But the galaxy isn't laughing anymore." With that, the Spectre and the human fleet vanished once again, leaving the Dracons to lick their wounds in the ruins of their defeat. Aftermath. The Battle of the Icaran Abyss became the talk of the galaxy. News of humanity's prowess spread like wildfire, and for the first time, the once-mocked species was viewed with fear and respect. In the shadows of Earth's moon base, Alex Carter reviewed the reports with a sense of quiet satisfaction. "The galaxy now knows we're here," he said. "But the real war has only just begun." Turning the tide. The galaxy stood still in the wake of the Battle of the Icaran Abyss. The Dracon Empire, once considered invincible, had suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of humanity, a species they had mocked and dismissed as weak. Across the stars, whispers of humanity's rise spread faster than light, leaving alien civilizations scrambling to reassess their strategies. But for humanity, the battle was only the beginning. The Drakon retaliation. In the heart of Drakon-controlled space, the Emperor seethed. His throne room, carved from black obsidian and adorned with trophies of countless conquests, now felt smaller, suffocating under the weight of his rage. Enough games. The Emperor roared, his voice reverberating through the chamber. Varric has failed me for the last time. Assemble the War Council. If humans want to play Predator, we'll show them what true hunters look like. Within days, the Drakons unleashed their most brutal retaliation yet. Massive war fleets swept across sectors known for human activity, targeting outposts, trade routes, and even neutral colonies that had traded with Earth. The message was clear. Anyone who aided humanity would face annihilation. Humanity's shadow defense. But humanity had anticipated this. In a hidden command center deep beneath Earth's surface, Alex Carter monitored the Drakon retaliation with an icy calm. They're doing exactly what we expected, Alex said to Zara over a secure channel. Their arrogance blinds them. They still think brute force is the answer. Zara smirked from the captain's chair of the Spectre. Good. Let's show them why that's their greatest weakness. Humanity's counter-strategy wasn't to match the Drakons in open combat. It was to bleed them dry through precision strikes and psychological warfare. The human stealth fleet became a phantom menace, striking key supply lines, sabotaging shipyards, and disappearing before the Drakons could respond. The galaxy watched in awe as the mighty Drakon fleets, built for large-scale battles, found themselves powerless against an enemy they couldn't see or predict. A mysterious ally. Amid the chaos, an unexpected development unfolded. On the neutral world of Arian IV, a mysterious envoy arrived at a secret human outpost. She was a slender figure cloaked in shimmering silver robes, her feline-like features sharp and elegant. She introduced herself as Linara of the Vex Alliance. Your victory at the Ikaran Abyss has not gone unnoticed, Linara said, her voice melodic but laced with caution. The Vex have long admired cunning over brute strength. You've proven yourselves intriguing. Alex, ever cautious, studied her carefully. Admiration is one thing, Linara. Trust is another. Why are you here? Linara's golden eyes glimmered. Because the Drakons are a danger to us all. Their retaliation threatens more than just your kind. It destabilizes the entire galaxy. The Vex are prepared to collaborate. Quietly, of course. An uneasy alliance. Back on the Spectre, Zara was briefed on the alliance. The Vex are opportunists, she said, frowning. They'll turn on us the moment it suits them. Alex's holographic projection appeared on her console. True, but for now, we need their resources. Their intelligence network is unmatched, and their ships are among the fastest in the galaxy. Use them wisely. The alliance was kept secret, with Vex scouts feeding humanity critical intel about Drakon movements. In return, the humans shared cloaking technology prototypes with the Vex, a calculated risk that could tip the balance of power even further. The turning point. Armed with Vex intelligence, humanity launched its boldest operation yet, Operation Blackout. The target was the Drakon Core Command, a fortified station orbiting the volcanic world of Cathar, known as the nerve center of the Drakon military. Using their combined forces, human and Vex ships infiltrated the heavily guarded sector under the cover of phantom shields. Zara's fleet took the lead, disabling the outer defenses with pinpoint strikes. Vex fighters darted through the chaos, sowing confusion among the Drakon ranks. On the bridge of the Spectre, Zora's voice was calm but firm. Their defenses are down. Begin Phase 2. The core sabotage. Phase 2 of the plan involved a daring infiltration. A team of human operatives, led by Zora's second-in-command, Rami Delgado, boarded the Drakon Core Command Station. Equipped with cloaking suits and EMP charges, the team moved like shadows, disabling critical systems and planting sabotage devices. The operation was almost flawless, until it wasn't. Betrayal in the ranks. As Rami's team reached the station's central power core, They were ambushed. Draken soldiers poured into the chamber, their weapons blazing. Among them stood a familiar figure, Linara. "You didn't think we'd let you claim all the glory, did you?" Linara purred, her expression cold. "The Vex have their own agenda." The betrayal sent shockwaves through the human fleet as Zara received the distress signal. Her jaw tightened, but her resolve remained unshaken. "They think they've outsmarted us," she muttered. "Let's remind them who they're dealing with." The tide turns. Zara made a bold decision. Using the Spectre's advanced systems, she hacked into the core command station's communications, broadcasting a fake surrender message from the Vex forces. Draken soldiers, confused by the sudden shift, hesitated long enough for Raimi's team to fight their way out. With seconds to spare, the sabotage devices detonated, destroying the station's power core and crippling the Drakon military's central command structure. The human fleet withdrew, leaving behind a shattered Drakon stronghold and a galaxy full of questions. The aftermath. The betrayal by the Vex sent shockwaves through the Alliance, but it also strengthened humanity's resolve. Alex addressed his people from Earth's moon base, his voice steady and determined. "The Drakons thought they could crush us. The Vex thought they could manipulate us. Both were wrong. Humanity stands united, stronger than ever, and we will not stop until the galaxy learns what it means to underestimate us." Across the galaxy, the Drakon Empire's grip weakened, their fleets scattered, their morale shattered. The tides had turned, and humanity was no longer fighting for survival. They were fighting for dominance. A new era. The galaxy was no longer the same. What had begun as whispers of a ghostly, unseen force had evolved into a movement, a tidal wave of defiance led by humanity. The Drakon Empire, once the uncontested ruler of the stars, was now fractured and retreating. Their proud fleets limped back to fortified territories, licking their wounds. But humanity was not done. The final push. Deep within the sprawling command center on Earth's moon, Alex Carter stood before a room filled with holographic projections of humanity's key leaders. The air buzzed with anticipation. "Our enemy is broken," Alex began, his calm voice cutting through the room's tension. "But they're not defeated. If we stop now, they'll rebuild, and their vengeance will be merciless. This is our moment to end the Drakon threat once and for all." The plan was codenamed Operation Eclipse, a coordinated assault on the Drakon Empire's heart, Karaf Prime, their homeworld. While the Drakons still boasted formidable defenses, their internal chaos had left vulnerabilities. Humanity intended to exploit them. Zara's Gambit. As the Spectre led the fleet toward Karaf Prime, Captain Zara Kincaid knew the risks. The Drakons would not go down without a fight. Every weapon, every soldier, and every ounce of their remaining strength would be thrown into defending their homeworld. "This isn't just another battle," Zara told her crew during a final briefing. "This is the battle, the one that decides if we go back to being prey, or if we rise as a galactic power." Her words sent a ripple of determination through the crew. They were no longer just soldiers. They were the tip of the spear aimed at the heart of a dying empire. The Battle of Karaf Prime. The human fleet emerged from the void like specters, their cloaked ships slipping past the outer defenses of Karaf Prime. The Drakons had fortified their orbital stations and deployed massive planetary cannons to deter any assault. But humanity's strategy was as precise as it was ruthless. Human strike teams disabled the orbital stations one by one, using EMP bursts and surgical strikes to neutralize defenses. On the planet's surface, chaos erupted as sabotage units detonated key infrastructure, disrupting communication and power grids. In the midst of the chaos, the Spectre approached the Drakon Emperor's command citadel, a towering fortress carved into the jagged cliffs of Karaf Prime's volcanic landscape. Face to face with the Emperor. Inside the citadel, Zara and a small team of operatives infiltrated the Emperor's inner sanctum. The chamber was as grand as it was menacing, with molten rivers flowing beneath a translucent floor. At its center stood the Drakon Emperor, his golden armor gleaming under the fiery glow. "You dare bring your fragile kind here?" The Emperor growled, his voice shaking the very walls. "You may have won battles, human, but this is my world. Here, you will fall." Zara stepped forward, her stance unwavering. "Your empire is already falling. We're just here to finish the job." The confrontation was swift and brutal. While the Emperor's strength was unmatched, Zara's team used their agility and advanced technology to outmaneuver him. The fight ended with the Emperor collapsing to his knees, his pride shattered. "You'll regret this," he spat, his golden eyes burning with fury. "You think you can rule the stars? The galaxy will never accept your kind." Zara leaned in close, her voice a whisper. "They don't have to accept us. They just have to fear us." The Empire's collapse. With the Emperor defeated and the command citadel destroyed, the Drakon Empire's remaining forces surrendered. The once mighty empire crumbled into fractured factions, each vying for control but too weakened to pose a threat. Across the galaxy, other species began to rise against their Drakon oppressors, inspired by humanity's victory. Trade routes reopened, alliances were forged, and a new balance of power emerged. A message to the galaxy. Back on Earth, Alex Carter delivered a message broadcast across the stars. His face was calm but resolute, his words carrying the weight of a species that had finally found its place among the stars. To the galaxy, we were once the weakest, the forgotten, the underestimated. Today, we stand as equals. Humanity has proven that strength is not measured by size or power, but by determination and unity. He paused, his gaze unwavering. "But let this be clear. We do not seek to dominate. We do not seek to oppress. We seek peace, a peace built on respect, not fear. To those who accept this, we welcome you as allies. To those who challenge it, well, you've seen what we're capable of." A new dawn. As the galaxy adjusted to its new reality, humanity's influence grew. The Spectre and its fleet became legends, their stories told in every corner of the stars. Zara Kincaid was celebrated as a hero, though she quietly returned to the shadows, ever vigilant for new threats. Alex Carter, now regarded as one of the most influential leaders in galactic history, worked tirelessly to ensure humanity's position was one of strength and diplomacy. But in the depths of uncharted space, something stirred. Faint signals from an unknown region hinted at a new threat. Something older, something darker. Humanity's journey was far from over. As Earth's blue glow reflected off the hull of the Spectre, Zara looked out into the void. "We've come so far," she murmured. "But the stars always hold one more challenge." And with that, the Spectre disappeared into the black, humanity's future shining brighter than ever.